There's a road that wraps around an entire country like a ribbon around a gift, cutting through volcanic landscapes, past thundering waterfalls, beside glacier lagoons, and along coastlines where the Atlantic crashes endlessly against black sand. That road is Iceland's Route 1, better known as the Ring Road, and it is one of the most extraordinary drives on the planet. Stretching approximately 332 kilometers around the entire island of Iceland, this legendary highway connects the country's most dramatic natural wonders into a single, continuous journey. 7 days is the sweet spot for experiencing it fully, giving you enough time to stop, breathe, and actually absorb the raw, untamed beauty that Iceland throws at you from every direction. This is not a road trip where you simply drive from point A to point B. This is a journey where the road itself becomes the destination, where every bend reveals something that makes you question whether you are still on the same planet you started on. The best time to attempt the full loop is between June and August, when daylight stretches almost endlessly and road conditions are at their most forgiving. That said, the shoulder seasons of May and September offer something magical of their own, with fewer crowds and the possibility of witnessing the northern lights dancing across the sky. Before you set out, a few essentials deserve your attention. Rent a 4-wheel drive vehicle, even in summer, because Iceland's terrain demands respect. Pack layers, waterproof gear, and always check road conditions on the official Icelandic Road and Coastal Administration website before each day's drive. With those preparations in place, the adventure begins in Reykjavik, Iceland's compact and colorful capital city. The first day pulls you out of Reykjavik and immediately into Iceland's most iconic southern landscapes. Before leaving the capital, take a short detour to the Reykjanes Peninsula, where the Reykjanes Geopark sits directly on the mid-Atlantic ridge, the geological boundary between the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates. Walking the bridge between continents here is a genuinely surreal experience that sets the tone for everything ahead. From there, head east along the Ring Road toward the Golden Circle, which technically sits slightly off the main route but is absolutely worth the detour on day one. Thingvellir National Park, a United Nations educational, scientific, and cultural organization World Heritage Site, is where Iceland's ancient parliament, the Alþingi, was established in 930 Common Era. The Rift Valley here is visually stunning, and if you are feeling adventurous, snorkeling or diving in Silfra, the crystal-clear fissure between the tectonic plates, is an experience unlike anything else on Earth. Continue to Glacier, where the Strukur Geyser erupts every 5 to 10 minutes with a burst of boiling water shooting up to 30 meters into the air. Then push on to Goðafoss, the thundering double waterfall that plunges into a rugged canyon with a force that sends mist drifting across the surrounding landscape. End the day near Seljalandsfoss or Goðafoss, two of Iceland's most beloved waterfalls. Seljalandsfoss is particularly special because you can walk behind the curtain of falling water, a perspective that feels almost impossibly cinematic. Spend the night in the Voldsvöllur or Vik area to position yourself perfectly for Day 2. Day 2 introduces you to the darker, more dramatic side of Iceland's south coast. The village of Vik í Mýrdal sits beneath the looming Katla volcano and beside Reynisfjara, one of the most striking beaches in the world. The black basalt sand, the towering hexagonal basalt columns, and the sea stacks known as Reynisdrangar rising from the churning ocean create a landscape that feels both beautiful and deeply ominous. The waves here are notoriously dangerous, so stay well back from the waterline and never turn your back on the ocean. Continuing east, the landscape shifts as you enter the Skafta River region and approach the vast Vatnajökull Glacier, the largest glacier in Europe by volume. The Skaftafell area within Vatnajökull National Park offers excellent hiking trails, including the popular route to Svartifjós, a waterfall framed by dark basalt columns that inspired the design of Reykjavik's Hallgrímskirkja Church. Further along the Ring Road, the Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon appears like a scene from another world entirely. Enormous icebergs calved from the Breiðamerkurjökull Glacier drift silently across the lagoon in shades of blue, white, and black, before eventually floating out to sea. Just across the road, Diamond Beach is where these same icebergs wash ashore and glitter against the black sand like scattered jewels. Take a boat tour on the lagoon if time allows, because getting close to those ancient floating ice formations is an experience that photographs simply cannot capture. Overnight near Hufen, a small fishing town famous for its langoustine, which you should absolutely try for dinner. Day 3 takes you into one of Iceland's least visited and most quietly beautiful regions, the East Fjords. The drive itself is the main event here, as the ring road winds along narrow coastal roads that hug the edges of dramatic fjords, passing tiny fishing villages, cascading waterfalls, and hillsides dotted with Icelandic horses. The East Fjords move at a slower pace than the rest of the island, and that slower pace is exactly what makes them so restorative after the intensity of the south coast. The town of Djúpivogur is worth a stop for its outdoor sculpture installation called Eggs of Mary Bay, featuring 34 large granite eggs representing local bird species. Further north, Fáskrúðsfjörður has a fascinating French connection. As French fishermen once used the town as a base, and the streets still carry French names alongside Icelandic ones. The largest town in the east, Egilsstaðir, sits beside Laugurfljót Lake, where Icelandic folklore claims a serpent-like creature known as the Laugurfljóts worm lurks beneath the murky waters. Whether you believe the legend or not, the lake is undeniably atmospheric. Spend the night in or around Egilsstaðir, and if the skies are clear, step outside after midnight for a chance at seeing the northern lights, which become increasingly visible as you move further from the capital. The northern stretch of the ring road is where Iceland reveals a completely different personality. Day 4 begins with the drive toward Lake Mývatn, a shallow volcanic lake surrounded by some of the most geologically active terrain on the island. The Namaskard geothermal area nearby is a bubbling, steaming landscape of mud pools and sulfur vents that looks genuinely extraterrestrial. The Dimmuborgir lava formations, a maze of twisted black lava pillars and arches, feel like wandering through a natural cathedral. Grjótagia Cave, a small lava cave with a geothermally heated pool inside, became famous internationally after appearing in the television series Game of Thrones. Nearby, the Ferfjall volcanic crater offers a relatively easy hike to the rim, rewarding you with panoramic views over the entire Mývatn region. Day 5 brings you to Akureyri, Iceland's second largest city and the undisputed capital of the north. Akureyri punches well above its size in terms of charm, with a botanical garden, excellent restaurants, and the iconic Akureyrar church perched on a hill above the town. From Akureyri, a detour north to the Tröllaskagi Peninsula and the coastal town of Siglufjörður is highly recommended. Siglufjörður was once the herring capital of the world, and the herring-era museum there is one of Iceland's finest regional museums. Return to Akureyri for the night, well-rested and ready for the dramatic landscape still ahead. Day 6 covers significant ground as you push westward from Akureyri back toward the capital region. The waterfall Goðafoss, meaning waterfall of the gods, sits just east of Akureyri and is one of Iceland's most historically significant sites. According to the sagas, when Iceland officially adopted Christianity in the year 1000 Common Era, the law speaker Þorgeir Ljósvetninagodi threw his pagan idols into these falls. The waterfall itself is wide, powerful, and deeply photogenic, especially in the golden light of early morning. Continuing west, the Snæfellsnes Peninsula deserves its own dedicated day if your schedule allows, but even a partial exploration is worthwhile. The peninsula is dominated by the Snæfellsjökull glacier volcano, which Jules Verne immortalized as the entrance to the Earth's core in his novel Journey to the Center of the Earth. The national park surrounding the glacier offers dramatic coastal scenery, lava fields, bird cliffs, and charming fishing villages like Arnarstapi and Helnar. The Kirkjufell mountain near Grundarfjörður, shaped like a pointed hat and reflected in a nearby waterfall, is one of the most photographed spots in all of Iceland. Spend the night on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula, or push back toward Reykjavik depending on your energy levels. The final day of the ring road journey brings you full circle back to where it all began. The drive from the Snæfellsnes Peninsula or the western region back to Reykjavik is relatively short, which gives you the luxury of a slower, more reflective morning. Stop at any viewpoints you may have missed on the way out, or simply drive with the windows down and let the landscape wash over you one last time. Before returning the rental car, a visit to the Blue Lagoon geothermal spa on the Reykjanes Peninsula is the perfect way to close the loop on this journey. Soaking in the milky blue, mineral-rich waters surrounded by black lava fields is an experience that feels simultaneously ancient and otherworldly. A fitting farewell to a country that has spent 7 days reminding you how extraordinary this planet truly is. Book your Blue Lagoon entry well in advance as it fills up quickly. Back in Reykjavik, spend the evening wandering Laugavur Street, browsing the design shops, and settling into one of the city's excellent restaurants for a final Icelandic meal. The ring road does something to people. It recalibrates your sense of scale, your appreciation for geological time, and your understanding of what wild and untouched really means. 7 days is enough to complete the loop, but the memories it leaves behind have a way of lasting considerably longer than that.